Good morning. This little tidbit came across the news yesterday, and I just had to share my opinion of it with you. If smokers are not being discriminated against enough, well, there's a new way your employer may decide to discriminate against you if you use legal tobacco products. Somebody came up with this brilliant idea that since smokers go out for smoke breaks, non-smokers now deserve extra vacation days. 11 of them. Really? What do y'all think about that? I would really like to hear the comments on this. Because here's the problem. Of course, all the non-smokers agree. They want those extra vacation days. But 28% of smokers agree. And this is once again the problem. Smokers are refusing to fight back. Now remember, we use a legal product. Cigarettes are legal. We pay a lot of money in taxes for them. The people who sell us the cigarettes love us. They want to sell cigarettes. That's their job. They love taking our money. The government loves collecting the taxes, which cigarettes are the highest taxed legal product in this country in its history. I think it's like 1,100% tax on cigarettes. The government loves taking our tax dollars off cigarettes to use for other things like child care and child health insurance. But they don't want us, after we buy the product and they get our money and they get our taxes, they don't want us to dare use these products in public. We are supposed to go hide in a cave somewhere. We're not allowed to smoke them on a beach, on a boardwalk. God forbid we smoke them near a place where children gather, because my God, the children, they're going to see someone smoking a cigarette. But it's fine. It's just great for children to see adults drunk out of their minds, throwing chairs in the pool, flashing each other and showing each other's bums and gyrating on the floor, drunk out of their minds, dancing on tables. You know, I have seen people who take their children boating and they load cases of beer on the boat before drink boxes for their children. And they drive that boat drunk out of their minds with their children on board. Nobody cares about that. Over the summer, I was yelled at for smoking a cigarette, just all peaceful, minding my own business, outdoors, because there was a sign that said no smoking. But above that sign, it also said no alcohol in this area. And yet every single person in that area was getting drunk. They were drinking. That's what they do. It was a party after all. Cases of beer everywhere, right under the sign that says no alcohol in this area. But who gets in trouble? Who gets a visit from security saying, you know, you're not supposed to be smoking at the pavilion? Oh, really? Well, you're not supposed to be drinking at the pavilion either, according to the sign. So what are you going to do about that? Because if I can't light a fucking cigarette because there's a sign, then all of my little buddies who actually reported me for smoking the cigarette, who had a beer in their hand, they need to be given a little visit too, a little knock and chat. Because the sign is there. Now, maybe this summer the sign that says no alcohol will be gone. Because people actually rent that pavilion out in order to get drunk and party and have a good time in front of the children. And that's all perfectly great. This workplace discrimination now. Let's talk about smoke breaks. And a lot of you are smokers. A lot of you who are going to watch this show especially are smokers because these types of shows interest you. So when do you get to go out and smoke? Anytime you feel like it? No. The law states that during an 8-hour workday, you are required, your employer is required to provide you with a morning break, a lunch break, and an afternoon break. It's the law. It's the law. What you choose to do on that break is nobody's business, or it shouldn't be. Okay? So I get the same 15-minute break in the morning that my coworker does. I choose to smoke, and she's going to get 11 extra days of vacation. Why? Plus, can I nail her because she just had 6 weeks paid leave because she had a baby? I don't have no babies. I don't plan to have any babies. Why does she get 6 weeks paid leave and I don't? Maybe women and men as well who are never going to get pregnant should also be given the same 6 weeks paid leave as a pregnant woman does. When I was working, there were 3 women at the same time in my office that were pregnant. One of them was in my department, and because she took 6 weeks of paid leave, I wasn't allowed to take vacation during that time because I was her backup and she was mine. We weren't allowed to be off work the same time. So I was allowed to take a 1-week vacation and she would do my job, but because she had a baby, she got 6 weeks. And I had to be in the office every day doing my job and her job for 6 weeks. And all she had to do was pick up my job for a week at a time because I wasn't even allowed to take 2 weeks at one time. We had 3 weeks paid vacation, but you couldn't take all 3 weeks at the same time because it would be a burden on the person who had to take over your job. Well, 6 weeks was a burden for me, not able to take a vacation, especially when she had one of her kids in the summer. No beach vacation for Paula that year because she took the whole summer off and I had to be there. Even though I had vacation coming to me, I couldn't take it. Now we're saying that non-smokers are going to get treated differently than smokers. How many non-smokers are in your office right now on Facebook? During work hours, does the boss know? I'll tell you the truth. My Facebook feed with notifications is busier Monday through Friday during the workday than it is on the weekends. And that tells me, because I know most of my viewers have jobs, that you're watching my show when you're at work. And I have no problem with that. I want you to watch my show. But then I don't want you to turn around and say, I deserve 11 days of extra vacation because Susie goes out for a smoke break. That isn't right either. One of the commentators, actually it was Hoda Kotb, said, well, she online shops sometimes in between takes on the show. Everybody has something. We want to go the parent route? How about little Johnny calls mommy at work every day? Mommy, something happened at school today. And mommy takes the call. She's not doing her job. She's not on her 15-minute afternoon break, but she's talking to little Johnny. She has to talk him down from whatever disaster happened today. I don't have kids. Nobody's calling me at work, taking me away from my job, screaming about some kid that was mean to me at school, or I can't find dinner, how do I put dinner in the microwave? I was visiting a friend in the hospital once, and she was ringing for her pain medication. You know where the nurse was? On the phone telling her kid where the fried chicken was for dinner and how long to put it on the microwave. And I ripped that nurse a new one. I said, get off the phone. You tell your kid you'll call him back and you give my sister her pain medication. So don't even get me started on that. Everybody who has a full-time job does things during the work hour that they're not supposed to do. That's not part of the job. This is just another way for nanny government, nanny employers to try to force people to quit using a legal product that they don't like. That's what it is. Because there's another carrot in front of your face, you smoker, you evil, filthy smoker. There you go. If you quit smoking, you get 11 extra days vacation every year. You're going to hate it because you're not smoking. You're going to, the pina colada isn't going to taste as good without a cigarette, right? It's just another way to control your life. And once again, what do we say on this show about employers and employees? The only right an employer has is to expect you to show up and put in your 8 hours a day. That's their only right. They control what you do from 8 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon or whenever your 8-hour shift is. But they have no business controlling what happens when you leave that building. There is a hospital in Lancaster, right down the street from me, who won't even hire a smoker. Talk about discrimination, right? They say that it is not appropriate to walk into a patient's room smelling of cigarette smoke. Well, how many doctors do you know that have ever killed a patient after having a cigarette? But I'll bet you know some doctors who have killed a patient because they had a little nip at lunch, little gin and tonic with their corned beef sandwich. Or they were hungover because of a big night at the bar the night before. They did surgery hungover. Or they are opioid abusers. Doctors, medical professionals are the #1 opioid addicts because it's so easy. The drugs are right there. They don't even have to buy them on the street. They can just go get them. What do you think's more dangerous? Being operated on or attended by a medical professional who just had a smoke break and really enjoyed that cigarette and is nice and calm now and ready to get back to work, or someone who's drunk or hungover or high on Percocet or Oxy or hydrocodone? What's more dangerous to the patient? And how dare any employer refuse to hire someone simply because of what they do on their own time? Their break time is their own time. Their lunch is their own time. And their 15-minute afternoon break, that's their own time. How dare they say you are not qualified for a job because you smoke a cigarette at lunch or 2 or 3 cigarettes at lunch? How dare they? And why are smokers agreeing? This is how smokers got into this position in the first place. By being too accepting of these restrictions on our legal product. There are more restrictions on tobacco products than there are on alcohol. There are. Think about it. You're not allowed to drive a car while drinking. Well, now you're not allowed to drive a car while smoking either if there's a child under 18 in the car. You are allowed to drink alcohol in a bar, in a restaurant, on the beach, on the boardwalk. But you're not allowed to smoke in any of those places. Not right, really? Not right. It's discrimination times 1,000. And to think for 5 minutes that somehow a smoker, your fellow employee, a smoker, is somehow entitled to something you're not getting because they smoke on their breaks. That's just snarky, people. Come on. I worked at an office, true story, where we were allowed to smoke at our desk. This was a long time ago. You can do the math because we were allowed to smoke at our desks. Employers say that smokers call off sick more because they smoke. I call BS. I can prove it. First of all, the longest I was ever off work for a medical illness was in 1990. I was off for 2 weeks because I had an ectopic pregnancy, not smoking related. And guess what? I wasn't a smoker back then. That's the longest I was ever off work. After I lost the baby, I did start smoking and never called off sick because of any smoking-related illness. In fact, since my ectopic pregnancy, I have never even gone to a doctor for anything other than a pap smear, a mammogram, or a birth control shot. No ill visits for 30 years. Come on. And I'm a smoker, and I smoke good. I'm a pack and a half a day smoker, and I'm not ashamed of that. But I have never been to the doctor in 30 years for an ill visit for anything, let alone smoking. Now, in this office where everybody was allowed to smoke at their desks, some people were smokers, some were non-smokers. Guess what? Nobody was calling off sick because of a smoking-related illness. We did have one saleswoman who got breast cancer. Now again, wait a minute. She was an outside salesperson. She wasn't in the office. So no, don't do the secondhand smoke thing. And we had one other salesperson who had a heart attack. They took time off work. They were off work more than any smoker was. Both of them, by the way, were non-smokers. Both of them, actually, they didn't even have smoking in the sales office. So they weren't around secondhand smoke. And they spent most of their days in their car. So no secondhand smoke there. So the people who took the most time off in this smoking office were two non-smokers who got breast cancer and had a heart attack, and women who took maternity leave because they chose to have babies. Oh, and me. I took 2 weeks because I lost my baby. So you know what? That thing about smokers taking more time off work is bull. It's BS. And no woman, by the way, who ever goes on maternity leave, that's not vacation. She still gets her 3 weeks vacation. So technically, the year she has the baby, she gets 9 weeks paid vacation. And us men, the men out there, and then us women who don't have children, we just get the 3. Now, you can debate that all you like. Paid maternity leave. You can debate it all you like. But if now employers are going to start playing this card, that a smoker loses out on vacation days because they go out to smoke during their legal breaks, that's a problem. Rewarding non-smokers with more vacation days for not smoking, even though they're the ones who get the calls from the kids, who go on Facebook during the day. Come on. I can't wait to hear the comments on this one. How many of you really believe that non-smokers should be rewarded with more vacation days simply because they work with a smoker who uses their break, their lunch, and their other break to smoke? I mean, they all get the same breaks. So how many of you agree with this? And I really want to hear from my smokers here. Are there any smokers out there who think this is a good idea? Just another way to force us back in our closet, to try to force us to quit, to make it that we can't even use a legal product during our workday on our break, a legally awarded break that our employer has to give everybody at the business? Hey, if my coworker wants to use her 15-minute morning break to do yoga, that's great. Good for her. I can't insist my employer pay for me to get free yoga or give me an opportunity to join a gym. If I choose to use my 15-minute break to smoke a half a pack of cigarettes in 15 minutes, which I definitely could, trust me, that's my business. It's my time. It's not the boss's time. And it's none of my fellow employees' business what I do with my time. But let me know what you think. I think I'm on the right side of this fight. I really do. And it's just, again, another way for other people to try to tell us how we're supposed to live. Like I said, they'll take our money. They'll take our tax dollars. But then they just want us to disappear when we decide we want to use the product. that we're paying for. Have a good weekend, everybody. I'm going to be back on Tuesday with a show from a viewer, and it's a really good one that all parents are going to want to watch. For now, Political Paula is out.